Right there. There we go. Awesome. Three, two, and one. Well, Steve, welcome back to Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. First off, congratulations. You allow me to maybe be last to say congratulations. You had another addition to the family, taking some time off for a new addition. Go ahead, tell us what was the news, and is everybody happy and healthy?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks for your patience and thanks for having me again. Yeah, my wife and I welcomed our third child here a little over a month and a half ago, Annie. So she's been joining us. Our family is healthy and doing well. The two older boys are certainly enjoy having her around, and things are going as well as you can imagine for a growing family with a young child. So it's been
That
great.
exactly. Again, I have no idea what this is like. I'm not going to. I'm not somebody who's going to be, having kids and things like that. But I understand from my family's experience, the biggest transition is when you go from playing man-to-man defense to zone. So
The
you're
exact
in
reference
it.
that we've been making. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
exact reference we made. We're playing zone defense now.
yeah,
It's
you're
been
in it
good.
right now. Everything's a little easier. The smallest one is generally attached to somebody at all times. But once I'm sure once that change gets made, uh, that's when they really start getting tested, right?
Yeah, certainly.
Again,
So
well, again, we
thank you.
congratulations. Yeah, and always willing to be patient for something like that, especially when it's good news. And you've got a lot of other good news in Plover. One of being the food to farm exploration center down there, which something again that was started under one of your predecessors, but is something that's become a great addition here to central Wisconsin. So how has the village been reacting and taking to this? Because I know they've got a lot of events going on there since they threw the doors open on that a few months ago.
Yeah, they've been an incredible addition to our community. Obviously Plover, but central Wisconsin and well beyond. A place for people of all ages to reconnect with agriculture and where their food comes from. The exhibits that they have inside of there are remarkable. State of the art technology. They've got stuff scaled down to a manageable size that you can kind of experience all those things while also being able to bring in full size modern day ag equipment to kind of teach people about how things work, where their food comes from, how they go about growing their food. They've got their cooking classes, conference space. We've had a lot of meetings and events held there. They've actually held quite a few like company retreats, like international companies in the ag industry that are coming to meet here. So certainly central Wisconsin has benefited from them being here. And obviously Plover, we're so happy to have them. They're a great community partner. They're willing to help, sponsor a lot of different events. They participate all over our community. So an absolute wonderful resource. Dick Pavelski and his team over there have created something truly special.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And me being somebody who grew up on a farm and knows the business end of a tractor, also knows the business end of a calf puller for that matter.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there right now. I like seeing stuff like that as well because I know how much work my sister and her husband put into the farm, which has been in our family for more than 150 years back in South Dakota. In fact, I've got the certificate to prove it, even though I don't work much on it anymore. I can
Yeah.
promise you that, and that's for the better. But being able to have everybody understand the amount of work that goes into that is something that again certainly matters to me on a personal level. I know it's something that matters to the producers here in central Wisconsin as well.
Yeah.
So and tell us now how that goes in with the ag tourism business as well, because I was just your way earlier this week. We had a an event with Governor Tony Evers at the Rooted in Red facility, the cranberry production
Mhm.
facility near Buren, because what they've done there is just as impressive as well. So this whole ag tourism thing is something that the region is definitely leaning into.
Yeah, statewide, it's a growing marketplace. I think you've got, like you said, there's a lot of folks that were tied to a farm at one point in their life, especially if they grew up in the Midwest, Wisconsin, South Dakota, really anywhere that there's generations that have lost that connection, right? Whether it be their grandparents were on the farm or their parents were on the farm, but they are no longer. And there's certainly a growing desire for those families to teach their kids about everything that they know or kind of expose them to that. Because if you talk with the Farming for the Future Foundation, and those running the Food and Farm Exploration Center. That was really the precipice for why they did what they did. They were hearing from inside the schools, right? You go and ask your kids, hey, where does this potato come from? The grocery store. Well, okay, how did it get to the grocery store? Like, well, what do you
Right.
mean? It's at the grocery store. Just there's this big disconnect now, where families used to be so entwined with agriculture that as we get generationally further and further away from it, just the importance of explaining to people, for one, where it comes from, how it's grown, why it's grown that way, um, is increasingly important. So their programming within the schools is awesome. A lot of that tourism stems through schools, but they're seeing it here, and I'm sure you see it in other industries as well. We've got groups of busloads of senior citizens that are looking for things to do, and again, they understand this more than most do. Maybe not the new technologies, but their connection and understanding, and that again, the connection to agriculture is strong. So it certainly helps to have that here, and we'll serve community, or not communities, serve kind of generations to come, without
Yeah,
question.
and last question on this then. Do you actually have the data right now as to what the economic impact of this facility has been for the region, or is that something that you're still calculating?
So I personally don't. I would
Okay.
assume that both the Food and Farm Exploration Center, or actually our newly formed Convention and Visitors Bureau, likely has a little bit
Sure.
more access to that data. Obviously, this is the first spring and summer that they're fully open. So we'll probably still be kind of gathering some of that, but it's certainly noticeable.
Yeah, again, and as I said, I was down your way earlier this week for that visit with the governor down in the Buren area. Had to take a little bit of a detour through town. Couldn't go
Yeah,
straight through Plover. You've got some roads torn up there. Uh, how is the road construction season going right now for you? Because as I'm sure a lot of people have noticed,
yeah.
it's impacting one of the busier areas in the village.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously the last couple of days haven't been very helpful, towards road construction, and somehow it decided to rain here for the last half hour out of nowhere. I'm not sure where that came from, but road construction's been going really well. This is a project that's been in the works for a handful of years now. Actually, it's Portage County Highway B. The county actually received an STP urban grant, from the state, so it's actually federal funding that covers 80% of the project cost. So locally, it's financially it's a huge benefit, but it's like any road construction, it is disruptive. Businesses that are kind of along that corridor have been made aware of it. They're well versed in kind of what was coming. We had business meetings with them, the DOT and the county for the last couple of years. Again, there's no way around it. It's disruptive.
Mhm.
However, this first phase is going really well. They're half done with this first phase, and the intent is that the area from I-39 to Hoover Avenue, which is in essence where Menards Metro Market is, will be have one lane open, in both directions on June 14th. And the first week of July, everything will be wide open there again. And then construction will be happening from Hoover Avenue, in essence, to Post Road to the west. But there'll always be a lane open in each direction there. So big project, disruptive project, but something that really needed to be done. That road surface was in brutal shape.
Mhm.
And I applaud our business community that knew, yep, it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow, but we know we need it. We're willing to stick through it, and support it happening. So there's been bi-weekly construction meetings with the businesses just to keep them informed. There's been some coordination back and forth on signage to keep trying to improve to make sure people know how they can get to those places. But by and large, it's been going pretty well, and so far it's on track, to kind of be complete here into November.
And obviously, the village has a huge role to play in that as well, because you want to give these businesses as much warning as possible. You want to be able to work with them to find the best way to get them access during this time as well. So obviously, that's been a big part of the conversation that you're having there every couple weeks,
Certainly.
right?
Yep. Yep. So it's like I said, it's been going on for a while. I
Hmm.
know it was late last fall. We kind of had the last 90% design meeting that we shared with all the businesses along that corridor. Really well attended meeting out at the county highway shop. And again, you just hear the support from the business community saying, we know this isn't going to be fun from a business perspective, but it's needed. We really need this surface to be in better shape. We understand it, and we'll make it through. So it's never a fun thing to deal with, but the end result is going to be worth it.
Yeah, indeed. As I like to say, it's any construction project like this, the best part is going to be when it's over, and when it's over, the weight and anything else that went into it will certainly be worth it, because you'll have a
Yeah,
better product.
absolutely. And yeah, it's going to time off pretty well, for some of the other big summer happenings that we've got coming up.
Mm.
So we've got two state tournaments for our youth softball, so our fast pitch tournaments. We've got the Plover Whiting Youth Athletics is hosting at Woyak Park and really all of our fields in the village of Plover because both of these tournaments are, I think, inching upwards of 100 teams for a weekend. But we've got the North American Fast Pitch Association State Tournament, June 21st to the 23rd. Again, they'll be using every village ball diamond to kind of kick that off on Thursday. And then dwindle down to the Woyak Sports Complex for championship day on the 23rd. And we also have the Wisconsin USA, or actually the USA State Fast Pitch Tournament, July 11th through the 14th. And that's going to be in combination of Woyak Sports Complex and actually Zenoff Park up in the city of Stevens Point, just to continue with the amount of teams that are in it, need more fields. So that'll be wonderful. Plover Whiting Youth Athletics does such a great job running those tournaments, and they're being rewarded with more work in doing some of these huge
Exactly.
tournaments. But it's a testament to how well of a job they've been doing for the last how many years. And also, again, that construction will all be kind of completed in that area in time for our annual Celebrate Plover event, our
Mhm.
big community event, the last Friday and Saturday in July. So this year's the July 26th and 27th. Kick it off on Friday night with a 5K, hot air balloons, live music, and a car show. And Saturday is what's been going on for a number of years here with family fun for all ages that kicks off with a veterans tribute on Saturday, live music, dance performances, vendors, business expo, kids activities, and the best fireworks show in Wisconsin. So
Then
lot happening coming up.
absolutely, and especially on the villages end, what's the biggest issue, I guess, or the biggest headache that you have to go through when you're putting on events like this, when you're bringing hundreds of softball teams to the area? Or is that an area where the village is kind of, hey, we're hands off on this, we'll be there if you need help, but you're the ones that know what you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
so I wouldn't say I wouldn't say there's any concerns or issues. We certainly play an active role in it. We at the village have an incredible relationship with Plover Whiting Youth Athletics, right? So a separate group that runs all these things, but we provide a lot of summer help staffing through these things. Helping drag the fields, taking care of refuse recycling, just maintaining all the grounds. So we have an active presence out there all the time. But again, it is an incredible partnership that's worked really, really well for many years. They fundraise, and really, if you've been out this Woyak Sports Complex, premier facility here in Wisconsin,
mhm.
we hear from communities all around the state when they come in and say, "How do you make this happen? How do you have such nice facilities?" And it's that partnership, right? They do really well. They run those tournaments, they run their leagues, provide that recreational resource for our community, and then they give back. They fundraise. They pay for all the improvements out there at Woyak Sports Complex, and the village then takes over maintenance of those, whether it be lawn mowing, etc. But that wouldn't be possible without their partnership. It really is a team effort. As a team, as a village, and Plover Whiting Youth Athletics, we've worked together so well for so long. It's a pretty darn smooth operation. I'm really proud of the way that our two organizations work so well together. It's a win-win for us, our community, and really statewide. Those coming to play tournaments here.
Yeah, and I ask you that because obviously you're not an athletics director. You're the
Mhm.
administrator for the Village of Plover. So when
Yeah.
something like this comes in, what is it that comes across your desk saying, okay, this falls under other duties as assigned, right?
Yeah, and really it's our public works department. So our, Roy Hoffensberger, who has been a village employee, he's going to be retiring come July, has been active in a leadership role for 36 years with the village. Um, he and his team in the public works department, nothing really needs to come across my desk. They've got that down to a science and a T. And him and his team, Scott Clem will be taking over for him, and he retires here at the end of June. They know what they're doing out there. There's really nothing that comes across my desk I need to handle. That team over there is incredible, and those tournaments run off really, really well. They coordinate, those two entities work fantastic.
Hey, and retiring after some 30 some year, that sounds great. When do we get to do that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be a thing for us. I'm not entirely positive that that's gonna be a thing by the time I get to be an age where I would consider it. But no, again, just shout out to Roy Hoffensberger. He's
Yeah.
been an absolutely immense value to our community. He's been the one that's been that point of contact for all those tournaments for, like I said, going on 36 years, and just does an incredible job. We're gonna miss him, but we certainly wish him well in his well deserved retirement.
Yeah, so that means a big job to fill for the village coming up later this summer too, as well. Any plans on how you're going to do that yet?
Yep. So our succession plan is complete already.
Okay.
That's one thing that we kind of pride ourselves in. We were fortunate enough. We've got in-house candidates that filled both of those spots. So in essence, the assistant public works managers come in, Scott Clem, will be replacing Roy. And then we actually we're fortunate enough that we have some talented people inside the public works department that were able to fill Scott's position. So Jake Hanselsberger, who's been with the village for 15 years, active in Plover Whiting Youth Athletics as a parent. Also, will be rolling into that role, so he'll be able. He understands from multiple levels everything that goes on for those tournaments. So we're in good hands.
Awesome. Well, hey, we would love to hear that. Always great catching up with you as well, and glad to hear everything's going well down there in the village of Plover.
Yeah, thank you. Great talking with you. Always appreciate it.
Absolutely. We will